Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Flashback 64, the chronological Nintendo 64 podcast. I'm Gooey. I'm joined, as always, by McKenna.
Hello.
And we're back to baseball.
We're back at bat.
We're back at bat, back up at plate. It doesn't feel like it's been that long. I guess there's been a couple months in the timeline of the show between these games and a handful of games, but we're at our third baseball game, which we'll talk about what that experience has been like. But of course, let's bring on our resident baseball expert returning to the show. We've got Abby. What's up, Abby?
Hello. Hi. I am good. I love baseball.
that has been well established, I think. I hope so. We're recording super ahead of time, months ahead of time. So I don't know where we're gonna be. Baseball will be happening when this comes out, and
Woo!
I hope your team is doing well. I hope I hope everything's going good. We'll have to when this comes out, maybe check back in. But how's your baseball life been lately?
It's currently rainy very often, so I actually haven't been able to play much softball, and the Yankees games I've been trying to watch live all got rained out.
Boo.
But I mean, yeah, it's looking to be a very exciting season. Sports are good. There's a lot of background interest this year because the collective bargaining agreement is coming up. So this might be the last baseball we get until the owners and the players come to an agreement next season. So I'm excited to see this rest of the season. I'm going to cherish it deeply because it might be the last we get for an extended time.
That just feels like that's just speaks to so much right now, where it feels like, will there ever be video games again? Will there ever be baseball again? Will we ever have fun again? Hopefully by the time this episode comes out, we're even still having fun. I've been kind of stressed lately, you know what I mean, about everything. So, but we're going to put that all aside when we're going to talk about Mike Piazza's StrikeZone, and it's going to make us all feel better.
I'm sorry, I can't get through you saying the title without laughing. This game.
Times are tough, but let's go nostalgic. Just think about the great times with our flashback segment, and talk about what's going on June 18th, 1998. Like I said, it really hasn't actually been that long in our timeline since you last joined us, Abby. We've only moved 2 days after our last two games, Chopper Attack and Wetrix. We're still in the era of The Boy Is Mine. That's the big track for the year. So I was like, let's look at what else is going on. Adia by Sarah McLachlan is at number 9 on the charts. Peaks later in the year at number 3. So The Boy Is Mine, like a lot of our other hits, it's going to box out a lot of other great tracks. Let's see. We're still in the same. Yeah, the Master P album is still number 1. So I was like, let's look down the list. If You See Him by Reba McEntire debuts and peaks at number 8 on the album charts, and is actually the counterpart to the album If You See Her by Brooks and Dunn, which debuts and peaks at number 11. And they had like a duet that they did together that's on both tracks. So much, this is like the country The Boy Is Mine. Brandy and Monica had theirs. This is them kind of doing that with the country. I don't know. Do you like either of those artists, Abby? Have we talked about country music at all?
No, we have. We actually did on the last episode I was on. I was like, listen, when they're sad, about things that they should be sad about, it's good. When they're angry at the government, it's probably good. But yeah, no,
especially the further back you go, because now it's like like leaning the other way, where you're like, oh, maybe they're mad about like COVID or I don't know,
what you can and cannot do in a small town. No,
yes,
I don't.
Exactly
I don't even mind the cold beer. The all the songs that say cold beer. You can make an entire country song just straight out of cold beer from different songs. It's very good. Reba, though, she can sing, which is good because the rest of her work I'm not a huge fan of. But Adia by Sarah McLachlan is like iconic. Everybody's heard it. It's very good. This era was all about, pop this is the era of pop being about either sex or drugs or like breakup, and that was a breakup song and it was great, so thank you, Sarah McLachlan.
What about you ever boot scoot boogie with Brooks and Dunn?
Oh god, I've heard it.
My country music knowledge is lacking.
Yeah. We should maybe, spend some more time with that.
How many people here have done square dancing before? Because I have.
They would I think they would like teach that in class.
Yeah, we had like a gym class unit.
I never
on square dancing.
I never took to that. Though I did like some of these tracks, I will say. At 8 years old.
I'm far enough north that we dodged that as a part of our school curriculum inside of public schools, but I still ended up square dancing at like, I don't know what event it was. My mom dragged me there. I was a child, but God, that was the era, I think, of like where dance halls would just be full of square dancing, and Boot, Scoot, and Boogie would be on the radio.
Heel toe, do-si-do. Come on, baby, let's go, Boot Scoot. Well, what else we got? Okay, I think the same. I think it's still like Truman Show at number 1. So I was like, and we've talked about a lot of the movies. So I was like, let's go further down, deeper in the box office. We've got debuting at number 9 at the box office. Not great for a debut. Dirty Work, the film directed by Bob Saget, starring Norm Macdonald. I think did we watch that together years ago? Or maybe that was before we did.
I have no memory of that.
We had a movie night once, I think, in the virtual theater Discord server where we watched this movie. I actually kind of like this movie, but I don't, I can't speak to how well it holds up or anything, but I thought it was pretty funny.
Okay, so funny story. One of the reasons why it probably didn't do well is because this was when Norm Macdonald was nonstop making fun of O.J. Simpson on Weekend Update, and apparently,
I believe he had already been fired. Yeah, at this point, I think.
Yeah. Apparently, one of O.J. Simpson's friends was an executive at NBC and tanked the like ad deals and marketing for the movie. So I've literally never heard about the movie, and the reason is because we have to protect O.J. Simpson.
I can't stand by like a lot of the we've seen plenty of Norm humor that he was delivering at that time. A lot of it, written by other people on SNL. But I will, and I can't, like I said, I can't stand by all the jokes in this movie, but there's some really funny stuff in this movie. I do think it's cool that Bob Saget got to direct a movie as well. And it's like a lot of the reviews I read talk about how like insincere it is and stuff. It is much like an Adam Sandler movie, but if they were so open about how like the actual emotional stuff in the movie does not matter. Like it's so insincere. And I think when you read some reviews, like they think that it's supposed to not be. And I'm like, I think they really just don't care about that stuff. Like, yeah, the story is stupid. And they're kind of like, what's funny about it is like him so like deadpan delivering a lot of this like bullshit.
Ever since he was a kid.
Hand over the milk money.
I'm afraid I can't do that, Derek. I'm just not sure you'll spend it on milk.
Mitch was only good at one thing.
You are the king of revenge.
Now he's making it a business.
That was really funny, sticking the cops on us like that.
I thought it was funny, but I'm surprised you guys did.
So if you need revenge,
Let us do your dirty work.
call the professionals. They'll give you the shirt off their back.
Ah!
Dirty Work. Rated PG-13. Starts Friday, June 12th.
Okay, while we're still flashing back, though, this is where Abby, you can cook, because now we're in June, so baseball. There was a lot going on in June 1998. This was when Sammy Sosa begins to catch up in home runs, the home run record that's going on. When the season started, people thought it was going to be between Ken Griffey Jr. and Mark McGwire. And then in the month of June, Sammy Sosa doubles his score, and he gets right up to Mark McGwire. So I remember this time period. I think we've mentioned this before. It was a hot time period. Do you want to say anything about, I guess we probably already talked about some of the home run stuff at this time, but
hardly actually. I would love to.
Yeah,
because
please.
So this was an era where everybody's like, oh yes, the steroid era, and that colored a lot of people's depiction of the time and looking back on it. As a child, I didn't know the labor landscape. This is 3-4 years after the players struck in the middle of the year because they had a terrible arrangement with the league. And this is coming out of the 70s and 80s when players would just be on painkillers 24/7 because baseball is a grueling game, and it got more professionalized in terms of player behavior and sports science after this. But this is still when painkillers are largely banned, and when they're beginning to ban all the extra substances players can't be using. So players just being on steroids to make sure their bodies don't fall apart makes sense. From a labor standpoint, it does. It's also not allowed at this point. Now, would I set up a Girl Scout troop with some testosterone to be selling on the corner? No, it's not exactly legal at the time, but it's not disallowed within Major League Baseball. So at the time, the players were not really doing anything wrong, and they're doing something absolutely amazing, which is incredible. This was the national story. People, if you weren't talking about the Balkans at war or NAFTA,
Bill Clinton,
Monica
Lewinsky,
this was the good news story at the time. Baseball was it. Sosa was consistent and a very good home run hitter, and facing up against McGwire and Bonds and Griffey at the time was absolutely incredible. Greg Vaughn also pipped 50 home runs, which means it was the first season with 40 home run hitters, which, I mean, it's been done, I think, since maybe a couple of times, but it's incredible. It's hard to detail how much of a leading story this was. This was front page news when people were still getting newspapers.
Right.
And what a time. Also in 98, also the Yankees won 114 games, which I think was the record until the Mariners broke that record in 2000, so baseball was very exciting at the time, and our leading man, Mike Piazza, had one of his best seasons in 98. There's so many great storylines. It's so exciting. The ball was juiced at the time as much as the players. That's why so many home runs were being hit.
The ball was juiced?
Yeah. So they
were injecting the ball with something like that.
So this is back in the day when MLB only got ownership of the factory that actually makes the balls like 8 years ago or 7 years ago or something. So, if that company was just like, I think every single ball should be bouncier now. It's just a thing you could decide to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have years, what was it, back in was it the 30s, or they called it the rabbit ball because it just kept hopping and bouncing. It's theoretically always made out of the same material, but if you take a spool of yarn that's wound taut, you can bounce it like a ball. But if you like have a loose skein of yarn and you just drop it, it floats to the ground because it's not as dense. There's just so much more. It ain't bouncing. That's exactly how baseballs work. You can literally wind it tighter. You can use stronger glue. You can make it. You can wind it at a different humidity so it tightens up as it dries out. Versus, there's so much cool tech.
This is a bouncy era, though.
Yes.
1998. Okay.
Yeah. So the steroid era was the steroid era, but also the balls were just bouncy. That's why in 2018, 19, and the years ending the teens, the tens, there were league-wide home run record breaking to a point that has never been seen before. I think it was the Twins or the Brewers, I can't remember which one, broke the record for most home runs hit in a year by a team. I think every single position in the Yankees order had like 10 home runs hit in around then as well. It's just obscene how much extra power you get out of a ball. I play softball. The balls that we use are like 15% stronger than the balls we use in a different league. So like do that math, like 400 versus, hitting the wall at like 350 or so, it's yeah.
I mean, people like seeing home runs.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Embry ready and cuts it loose. High drive, deep left field. That's Sosa's 20th in June. 20 home runs for Sosa this month. He adds to his major league record.
Before we introduce the game, we could talk about Mike Piazza, because I was kind of thinking last time we got to the end of the episode, I'm like, oh, we got to talk about Ken Griffey Jr. And I felt like we ended up talking about him, but I felt like, that would have been great to give him his moment before the games. So I want to make sure we do this with Mike Piazza, because I feel like for me, it was just, he's just someone who I just know the name, and I know literally nothing about the guy. I didn't even know what position he played or anything. Like, I all I knew as a kid was the Cubs and like the home run thing. And I knew a couple other players, like a lot of the ones you mentioned. McKenna, how about you? Mike Piazza, is this a name you know?
No.
Okay, great. Well, June 1st was when Mike Piazza hit his first home run as a New York Met. He had a .328 batting average for the season. He was the first player to hit more than 30 home runs in a season while playing at least one game for 3 different franchises, because he was traded from the Dodgers to the Marlins to the Mets. So pretty good score, I would say.
Yeah, because he had multiple MVP vote getting seasons. So him getting traded twice in a year is sort of like watching Juan Soto getting traded twice before he's even eligible for free agency. It doesn't make sense because he got such a incredible hitter. But for Piazza, he was playing at such an important position. We got to do the Mike Piazza story. There's so much.
We watched a couple things. We learned a little bit more. We watched more secret base videos about Mike Piazza. But Abby, I know you had a story or two about Mike Piazza. He played for not your team, but he's a New Yorker for a while. What's your history with Mike Piazza?
So I knew him as extremely good hitting catcher for the team I hated because I
Yeah.
really didn't know his career until he was for the Mets, and the Yankees and Mets faced off in the 2000 World Series. And
Ooh.
during that World Series, he had a broken bat against Roger Clemens, the Yankees pitcher. I think Clemens has won the most Cy Young Awards, Pitcher of the Year awards of all time.
This was one of the video that we watched, a Secret Base video talking about, like, they had like a rivalry too, right?
Yeah, like Clemens was extremely good and played for a bunch of teams that he would face against repeatedly. And he was in the same division and then moved out to the Yankees and then faced off against each other in the World Series. So like a heck of a thing. Broken bat from Mike Piazza, and a chunk of the bat goes to Clemens on the mound. He grabs it and then throws it back at Mike Piazza, who then like stared at him and then charged the mound, which was the right thing to do. You should, if somebody throws a hunk of bat at you, if you have reason to believe they don't have more chunks of bat on them, at that point it's a fist fight. Go for it. But what's incredible is they didn't eject anyone from there. Very hilarious stuff.
Watching it happen, it was very confusing. You saw the footage, right? Like, it looked like, it didn't look like, I don't know. Maybe I'm defending the guy too much. But it looked like more like confused than anything, right? Like, I don't know. It didn't come off as like pure, I'm going to like, because he kind of threw it at the ground. You know what I mean? Like, at least that's how I thought it was. McKenna, do you feel like there was malice in his heart?
Yeah, I don't know.
They did say in the video he was known for kind of like hitting. He would sometimes, intentionally hit some of the batters, but that's not
Roger Clemens
uncommon.
is not a normal guy. If you are fighting against Roger Clemens is the extremely angry soy jack, and you are the chat face guy. You've already lost the argument. Like, it's just absolutely wild. Okay, so long story short about so Mike Piazza's career was very legendary. He was very good for years. He was, as a kid, he learned how to play baseball, but he was never in like a proper good college program to get scouted. So he went to like a junior college in Miami and didn't really get like scouted proper. So as a favor to his dad, who had some money, he got like personal instruction from Ted Williams as a kid. Like, Mike Piazza was a child of money. I will give him this though. He was drafted in the last round, back when there were, I think, 60 rounds of the draft. So there were 60 rounds, and he was the last player picked by the Dodgers. Oh. That's not a recipe for success. So because they didn't know how well he hit, he was hitting against not great competition, and he was playing first base. He was like, I don't think this is going to work. They were like, what if you learned how to play catcher? And he could have basically just like been lazy about it. He sort of got a payday. He doesn't really ever have to worry about money. He played a lot of baseball already. Instead of that, he went to the Dominican Republic, which is not a common thing for rich white baseball players to do. And he learned how to play catcher. And we don't have very good stats as to like how effective defenders were back in the day. Catcher framing data, like making a ball look like a strike when you catch it to like deceive the umpires.
Oh yeah,
or the batters, with the modern challenge system, make them waste those. Those were not implemented back in the day. And so we believe he was a good catcher, but we just don't really know. But he was probably pretty decent. The other good news is he hit. He raked. He was a Silver Slugger, which is best hitting at your position. I think for like 10 or 10 years, 12 years. He was an all-star for Silver Slugger for 8, all-star for 10. Is that right? God, he's good. Silver Slugger 10 times, all-star 12. Rookie of the Year in 1993 with the Dodgers. As you said, traded from the Dodgers to the Marlins to the Mets, and then was there up until basically the end of his career when he was injured and not playing so much. And he was always in the National League up until suppose his last season for the Athletics, when if you wanted to put a good hitter in your lineup, they had to play the field. There was no DH. So he would be playing 150 games behind home plate as a catcher. That is obscene. Now a full season for a catcher is like 130 games. Like,
you gotta be like crouched down the whole time too, you know, like doing this. And
they're throwing balls at you. It's a very tough job. Imagine like, you know, you're trying to catch roided up pitchers, and
that is the position I would want to play the least, I will say.
It's scary.
Yeah.
I was a emergency catcher as a child when, you know, the balls were coming in at maybe 50 miles an hour or something. And it was terrifying still. He hit 400 plus home runs. He had a batting average over 300. He was basically the best hitting catcher up until the more modern ones. Like Cal Raleigh's basically a better hitter than him, but he was doing it from the start and consistently. So it's like, it's obscene. It's obscene. He got top 5 MVP votes in 3 consecutive seasons in 95, 6, and 7. And then in the middle of being traded, he still got MVP votes in 98. Like, imagine having to move twice in the middle of your work season, and then still being a top 15 performer at your job. I couldn't. Moving sucks.
God, you're telling me.
Yeah, Mike Piazza is a pretty cool baseball player. Now, he is a rich old white guy at this point, so maybe don't listen to his opinions on everything. But as a player, easy to love.
Okay.
And
I hadn't looked into his opinions, so I don't.
He's also like a Mets icon. When they closed down the old Shea Stadium, which was built, you know, around I think in the 70s or something, and was up until like 2008 or 9, and then they went over to Citi Field where they are now. He caught the ball, and then walked out with Tom Seaver, legendary pitcher for them. And then opened the stadium by doing the same at Citi Field. So like icon, extremely cute moment.
Cool.
All the Mets fans will be loving this. He hit the first home run in New York after 9/11. Like he had to deal with all the bad stuff.
I watched a video that was called, like, you know, Mike Piazza heals the world with a home run after 9/11. It is one of the craziest things I've ever seen, where it's like everyone's so emotional over this home run. I was like, what a time. That's just a different time. 9/11 changed baseball. It changed country music. You know, you can't say Cold Beer without mentioning the Troops, but you can't hit a home run without crying.
Well, okay, the fact that wokeism has won baseball, Bud Light, being attracted to adult women, like woke is in, and it's amazing. I'm so happy we have baseball now, but back in the day it was not. And so you had like George W. Bush going out there throwing strikes for the Yankees.
I hate that.
Yeah, I mean, it was cool at the time. Listen, I was 9 and I thought it was all right or whatever.
We did learn that Mike Piazza had to tell everyone he's not gay. That was one of the things we learned about him, was that there was like a big rumor to the point where he was like, yep, That's it's not me. Okay, dude. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I was kind of a little bit endeared to him, learning about him. The game. We'll talk about the game. Obviously, it didn't do a lot compared to like. I still think like Ken Griffey Jr. is a cooler dude, but I don't know, McKenna. Do you have any? We didn't really get to know him that well, but any Piazza thoughts?
I couldn't name a catcher before this,
there
and
you
now
go.
I can.
It's cool to be like a star catcher. I think that's pretty sweet. And his name sounds like a baseball player's name.
Yeah.
It just does. Mike Piazza. I don't know. Anything else we want to say about him before we get into his game? No, okay.
I'm not sure he had much to do with this game, I'll be honest.
Probably not. I do like his intense.
I didn't see, sometimes they have something written in the manual, although I don't think I saw that for Ken Griffey Jr. either.
No, but that game was full of his personality. This game has. I do like
full like pictures of him.
His intense face on the cover is cool.
Knock the cover off the ball, tape it up. This one hit to left field. And Martinez back, and Mike Piazza has his first home run as a Met.
Hello, we are Kirby Conversations, a podcast on Kirby along with adjacent subjects like Smash Brothers, HAL Laboratory, and other related Nintendo games.
In each episode, we take an in-depth look at a new Kirby topic, drawing on our decades of experience with the series. I'm Sean Douglas. I'm a writer and podcaster with a background in video game and theater journalism.
And I'm Gigi, the editor-in-chief of Kirby and a big Kirby fan from Brazil. I translate Kirby interviews from Japanese to English and research a bunch of obscure Kirby media.
And I'm Bridget, a longtime fan, commentator, fan artist, and Kirby collector.
Join us for a mix of commentary and original reporting, deep dives into Kirby history, interviews with industry professionals, and more, as together we explore all things Kirby and HAL Laboratory. We're a proud part of the Soundstone Podcast Network, and you can find Kirby Conversations on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Mike Piazza's StrikeZone is a baseball game featuring the 1997 and 1998 Major League Baseball leagues. It is the third baseball game released for the N64 this season. You can play a single game, a full season, a 7-game World Series, the 1997 All-Star Game, or a home run derby. There are tons of options for customization in the season mode, starting with the option to do a full draft at the beginning of the season and complete trades throughout it. After you've selected your teams, you can go in and edit their names, colors, cities, stadiums, and logos, as well as edit individual players. You can build your own team by changing a player's name, appearance, number, stats, and whether they bat and pitch left-handed or right-handed. You can simulate all the games or control every team, which in a full 162-game season means playing 2,592 games. Choose arcade or simulation style and grab another player or play against the computer in Mike Piazza's StrikeZone.
This was developed by Devil's Thumb Entertainment, which, funny enough, we talked about Angel Studios last time becoming Rockstar San Diego. Devil's Thumb Entertainment was actually sort of a spin-off from a studio at DMA Design, which becomes Rockstar North. So they only made like one other game, and they were eventually closed down. So there's I don't know a ton of lineage there. I did read that some of the people who worked on this game worked on the original Ken Griffey Jr. game for Super Nintendo. So there's a little bit of that, but it was published by GT Interactive. And honestly, I don't have a ton of other notes for this game because I just did not have a lot of time for this game, to be quite honest. McKenna, maybe, what's your general impression of this game as well?
Well, maybe you can tell by the description, but I think the most interesting thing about it is the amount of customization you can do.
I didn't even straight up dabble in much of that because the game itself was just so. I was just so done by this point. Like, we've covered a lot of other sports games where there's been multiple entries in this, but usually we haven't gotten to like the third one, and it's like the least fun one. You know what I mean? So I was like, I don't have like the other games we've talked about with like the season and all those extra modes. It's like I have to kind of be into the game to want to dabble with it. But you did some.
Yeah, I did a little just to see what was there, and you can basically like create an entirely new league that you can go in and you choose a player and edit everything about them so that they don't resemble the original player, and you just basically make your own teams that way and do that for a whole league. So
it's got that.
Do you actually want to play 2,592 games?
No, absolutely. No.
Nor do you want to simulate them, because I don't think this is that interesting to have on and watch.
No, the vibes are the least interesting of all the games we've played. But maybe, we'll talk about some of the basic gameplay. Abby, you can sound off on this a bit. I thought, like, to me, it was interesting that because it is like, I thought it was interesting that it was like, hey, this is from a catcher's perspective. Like it's StrikeZone, like I think there's something about that that's kind of interesting, that they tried to tie it a little bit to being a catcher, but like this is not I don't know, this is not like if I hadn't played the other games, I would be like, yeah, whatever, it's baseball, it's fine, you can play some baseball. But I didn't think this game was very fun, especially after having played All-Star Baseball 99 and Ken Griffey Jr. But what did you think playing this game, Abby?
So you said from the catcher's perspective.
I think so, yeah.
the POV camera is basically the catcher's perspective in almost every single like sports game, right? So unless you're in like VR, generally the camera's just stuck behind home plate, and that's what you're looking at. So I guess you do get like the title StrikeZone, because when the ball, so basic mechanics of the game, ball is thrown, and then you'll see either blue or red tail behind the pitch coming in. If it's blue, it's a ball. If it's red, it's a strike.
Yeah, that's it. It's
that. Welcome to Mike Piazza StrikeZone. We just told you everything novel about this game.
And I will say, like, I thought that I mean, it was easier to me to hit off of that compared to the other games we played. Like, we talked about kind of how hard it was to master Ken Griffey Jr., but that was actually like fun, I thought. Whereas this, it's like, oh, it's red, like I'm gonna swing, and it's just like get the timing right, which is, I don't know, that you might as well just play the classic hitting in Ken Griffey Jr. or something like that.
Yeah,
it's just not compelling gameplay at all.
Yeah. I don't know what else to say about it. I think you just said it all. Like, you swing or you don't swing.
You could bunt, maybe.
Yeah, you could bunt.
Bunting was very strong. And you
bunting
also had
is OP.
If you have fast, you could literally draft an all-speed team and bunt, and probably. I should have done that, and probably just be able to bat around. I used to do that with on Triple Play Baseball. It was a computer game night, 01, 02. And I would take a pencil, put it on the bunt button, and then put a CD case on top of the pencil, so it would just auto bunt. and I would score like I don't know how many runs
That's
before we made 3 outs. Like the whole lineup would go through sometimes multiple times. It was obscene. This game we talked about the one cool thing it does. You don't aim the bat really in the same way. It's extremely sensitive when you're aiming the pitches. Like you're not playing within the strike zone like you are in Ken Griffey Jr., where you could like aim at the start or aim at the edge and then bring it in, or aim at the edge and like move it up or down. You did not get that option. Like it felt like you could play with the D-pad and it would be basically the same experience, which is extremely disappointing because this is a N64 game and you have a proper analog stick. What are we doing here? This game struggles. You have a lot of the same issues when it comes to like fielding, where you can't switch. It's just whichever player is closest to the ball by the game's estimation as to who should get it. And because it's not visible on camera immediately, you're actually do a better job fielding based on the mini map at the bottom right instead of looking
that's
or
good
guessing.
Gameplay right there.
Yeah, I mean, like that's how you know it's bad. You're not looking at the pretty detailed animations. Like I think they put in 8 or so different like body types, ways to swing. I think they
the
put
batters
in
kind of stood out. Like some of them would do a little unique, like kind of slightly exaggerated, like flipping the bat or whatever. You know, it's kind of fun, but not that
also
exciting.
a fun bit is you can literally set down the controller and then they just won't pitch. You have to hit A to start the pitching in like a home run derby. Which led to it's this game.
I always found that weird when I was pitching. You were talking about the pitching. Like I found that weird when I was pitching. Like I'd hit A and I'd be like, oh wait, nope, that just like starts
selected the pitch.
Did you have any
get ready, or they like stance up or whatever?
So that selected the pitch. I had a hard time too with that. Like, do I select the pitch? Like I couldn't tell if hitting A selected it, and then I would throw it thinking I'm selecting it, but then I'm hitting the direction, and I would always throw it like in the corner or like way out of the strike zone. So it took me a minute to kind of get used to that, and it wasn't like it's different than the Griffey batting where it's like, oh, it's a struggle to get to like master that, but like I can see the rewards in this. I was like, this just is like not fun to figure out. I don't know. I didn't like any aspect of the pitching. Sorry, Abby, I cut you off there. You had more you're gonna say.
No, that you detailed it pretty well. Like if you are not familiar with pitching, this isn't very rewarding. Like if you are familiar with the concepts, it's still not, because there is a cheat code on every pitch thrown to see whether it's a ball or a strike. Like in our softball league, if you throw a pitch too high or not high enough, they will rule it illegal before it even gets to the plate. So if you listen to them saying illegal, you just don't swing and it's a free ball. You just get that immediately the second you see blue. You just go, oh, okay, I don't have to do anything. And making like, I don't know, a third of the game in terms of batting, just not taking just taking pitches is like boring. It's boring.
It's a boring game. Yeah.
And as a pitcher, so back in the day, catchers would throw down signs, or a pitcher would signal what pitch they want from the catcher.
Oh yeah, and he's doing like shaking his head.
Yeah, that's
thing, right?
Yeah. So I mean, that was pretty cool that they did that.
But I couldn't tell. Like, is he telling me no? Don't throw that pitch. Like,
yeah, so you could select pitches your pitcher doesn't have.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, if you tap, what was it, L? I think if you tapped L you got to see your selection of pitches that you had as an option.
Yes,
it was
like a little diagram. Yeah.
Also, the display of the the display of the strike zone was so. It looks like a strike zone, like a modern depiction of it, where it's done up in thirds, where it's you get three smaller vertical slices, and then 3 horizontal rows, and the center of it is the entire strike zone, and it's red, and the outside of it, that's the ball zone, that's blue. But you don't need that, because it is shown to you by the color of the trail of the ball. So instead of being able to like select, oh, I want to pitch to this part of the zone, that wasn't part of it at all. All you were doing as a hitter was hitting A when the ball was near the plate. And that was the entire thing. This game could have actually been for the NES without much changes in terms of its gameplay, like the raw gameplay elements, which is devastating to say. Like, I suppose you did get to like actually look at the batters and stuff, but we're going off of Ken Griffey Jr., where you got to see every single player get on and off the field. You got to see him line up for the national anthem. The players literally disappeared. They did not get out there for the national anthem. They were protesting, dang it.
Take a knee, yeah.
No, not even. They were I think they were sitting in the building.
Yeah. Again, if this was like back when we started, the first soccer game we played was FIFA. The first FIFA 64. And we were definitely already underwhelmed by it, but now we've played 3 FIFA games and other soccer games, and it's like it's interesting to watch it develop. And granted, that's the same series, and we've even covered all the Wayne Gretzky games. They're all the same game, but it's the same fun game. This was like. And this is true. I think this is what doing the chronological shows, because the other 2 baseball games came out at the start of the season in April or whatever. This is in June, months later. So something tells me I could not find a lot about the development of this, but it feels like I'm certain it was underfunded and like did not have a lot of time. It probably was, it seems like that you would want this to come out sooner, especially if it's the weaker of the 3. So I don't know. It seems like this coming out months later and being like a massive step down is like, that's rough. That's just rough for it.
The All-Star game happened in July, so it's not like it even lined up with that, because like Mike Piazza is a perennial All-Star. Maybe you're taking a big swing with that. I'm guessing is the license for Mike Piazza's name was coming up, and they missed the deadline or just saw what it was like compared to the other games, and a huge gap between this and the other ones. I will say this: I don't know about the first baseball game you did, but Ken Griffey Jr., you could not make the game simulate against itself. But McKenna, we were there. Did you make the game play itself?
Yeah.
That's one of your favorite pastimes with the show.
Yeah, with all the sports games now, I'm like, all right, can I make it play itself? So I did it here, and it's not that interesting, like there's not much commentary going on. They'll call the balls and strikes, but there's no like funny little quips or anything.
Sometimes the batters get like mad or something, but it's
it's just like it's not interesting to have on in the background.
Yeah.
It's mostly just like, okay, I can hear the crowd.
It doesn't have. So the flip side of the fun factor is the vibe, and this game is kind of juiceless in terms of it. There's some things that look okay, it looks pretty passable, but it doesn't have either. Like All-Star Baseball 99 has a thing that some of the sim sports games have, where you, especially if you're looking at it on a CRT from afar, it's like, oh, that kind of looks like a real game. You know, like if you saw this in 1998, you'd be like, whoa, like, am I looking at a real broadcast? And then it doesn't have if it's not going to be that, it doesn't have the like Griffey thing where it's like, oh, this is like got a fun arcade feel to it. So it's just completely sauceless, let's just say.
Yeah.
Even in the menus are just gray.
Yeah.
There's no
the like initial like start with the lighting. It looks kind of cool. Remember like the logo and the way like Mike Piazza is lit,
and the music is cool there.
What was it Superman where he gets sent into the cube or whatever, where it's just him in the logo in the home plate with his like crazy face on. And so like, you know how I said Mike Piazza was like decent as a person to root on? This is decent as a white guy of the era. And let me tell you, the game was so stuffy and freaking boring. We were lucky. We were so lucky to have very, very cool baseball players in Ken Griffey Jr. and like just unapologetically like happy to be there people. Like the boring PR speak of like Jeter is only endearing if you idolize his accomplishments on the field. And so like it would be very easy to be like, oh yeah, but that guy sucks for any other player on any other team, which is why Mike Piazza is like not beloved. He's just like there. He was a very good hitting catcher. He was like one of the best players in the league for quite a few years. But like unless you were nobody was like, yeah, I love that guy. He was a good baseball player. And the issue is, if you want to be an MC for a baseball game, you want to have vibes. And negative vibe. The commentary was not good. The music was grating. Like, God, it was loud too. You couldn't like, you could turn it off, but you couldn't like change like 0 to 10 like volume on it. So I hope you really like that. Like that menu music was hilarious. Because it was like a Casio keyboard version of drum and bass.
Yeah. I kind of liked it actually.
Strike 3! While like Casio keyboard drum and bass was happening in the background. It was a struggle, man. I don't know. They did model the heck out of the parks. I guess that's cool.
But even then, like the actual like visuals, I don't know. It fell flat to me compared to the other ones. Like they looked all right. Like I think they did a good job, like you said, like with the models of it. But like they weren't. I don't know. The other ones kind of like have a bit more flavor to them or something. I don't know if that's the right term, but yeah.
Yeah. I don't. They weren't like terrible visually, but just like compared to the other two, like the other two looked much better.
Yeah. I kind of feel like that, like in both aspects of this game, like the gameplay and the vibe, it's not like we've covered games where it's like some of the worst games you could ever play. And it's like, we've talked about some where you feel like grimy playing them. This was more of just like, maybe this makes it bad in its own unique way, but it was just the most like bland game we've ever played, I think. Like not the most abhorrent, but the most bland, you know. That's how it struck me.
This game was the shopping malls 20 years later. Like you think of your 90s shopping mall as a kid, and then if most of the time if you're us, You go back there, and it is urban exploration, not a vibe, not a place to hang, not a place to do commerce or get luxury goods. It is just there. If you're lucky, it's a business park.
And I don't. I think this game, that's kind of how it was received too. Like, I guess you pulled something, McKenna, where they compared all the games, but even then, it felt like it was doing its best to give this game an edge with the customization.
Yeah, I was looking at Nintendo Power, which did like a little comparison of the three games. Like they're just like, oh, what's different about it? And for StrikeZone, it was basically like this is what it says. It's minor league material when you compare the details in All-Stars graphics and precision in Griffey's play control. It does say Piazza is the only game with league and team creation menus, which is a huge plus for fantasy baseball fans, especially those that demand full control in their game, right down to creating rookies fresh from the farm system.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you want that like 100% customizable element, this is there. But for play, it's like, yeah, the other ones are better in terms of actually playing the game.
They did so in '98. That was the last expansion baseball's had since '98. So we had both the '97 and '98 league structures in the game, which means you also had like two separate rosters worth of players. But I don't think I don't believe they changed the players' ratings between the two, which is very funny because if I recall correctly, Derek Jeter was like a mid-level player, and I don't think he would earn a MVP this season in '98 or '99, but he was a very good player. He was not a mid-level player at the time. I think he just won Rookie of the Year '96 or '7 or something. Like, imagine Mike Piazza in like '95 being graded as medium in the middle of him like getting MVP votes and just fresh Rookie of the Year, being consistent. This game didn't age great, just like Piazza. So looking at the I'll get back to the customization, but I want to go to the manual for a quick sec. Did you take a look at it?
I did, but especially because like while I was playing the game, we talked about some of the lack of the batting and the pitching kind of feeling like it's missing something. So I went to the manual because I was like, is there more to this game that I'm missing? And I went to the manual and discovered like not really. So I read it, but I don't remember much about it. Is there something interesting in there?
So mostly what's not in there. You get like Mike Piazza's face on the cover.
Great.
And then
that's what I want. For sure.
Like screenshots of the game that look all legit, like it's from the game proper. But you also the button screen, you don't get icons of the buttons. You just get like a letter description like R and B, not like the R trigger button, the R bumper, or like Z, being the thing there. That would have been cool. They literally in team it tells you strategy. It literally says knowing your opposing strengths and team's weaknesses as well is essential to selecting your batting order and bullpen. It doesn't really matter because the best players are generally already in there. They didn't like change the stats,
right?
To put like better players on the bench. They also like where's this playing the game, fielding. If you expect your opponent to hit one out of the park, move your fielders to the back wall. But if you think they'll hit it short, bring them in closer. You can't do that.
Oh.
You can't do that. Like, these are the, like,
I didn't
remember
even think
how
about that.
I was like detailing, like, oh god, you could like shift players over. Like Ken Griffey Jr.'s play control, as the review said, was like extremely detailed. This game just straight up doesn't. There's no like in Ken Griffey Jr. you got like a very tactile sense of like when players are fatiguing by or the like the fading in and out, or like how big their reticle is when they're batting. You don't get that here. It's just you hit A if it's close to the plate.
It would be like if you got the Gran Turismo manual we read that has like everything about like how a car works, but the manual was for like Super Mario Kart. You're like, okay, but I can't do any of this stuff. What are you talking about?
Where's my mushroom? So about the customization, you can actually edit the team. Like if you wanted to make like the Savannah Bananas, you could.
Sure.
Theoretically.
Yeah.
The Indianapolis Clowns, you could go ahead and do that.
You recreate your team that you play on or something.
Yeah, your Brooklyn Dodgers, bring them back home, you know?
Yeah.
So that's an option. You can also edit players. And so I believe you that, what was it, Rockstar North is what this group ended up as?
No, there was DMA Design, who became Rockstar North. They had a separate studio in like a different location, and they got acquired, and when they did, they're like, we're gonna spin this studio off into Devil's Thumb. And then Devil's Thumb made like one other game, and that was it. And then DMA became Rockstar North. So there's like not that same like lineage. It was sort of like they cut off their thumb, and then the thumb shriveled and died like a year later. So
yeah, no, that tracks. I don't know if I was if I was Ken Griffey Jr. and I was like, wow, my game was banging, successful, people loved it. Let me go see what Mike Piazza's doing. Meanwhile, Mike Piazza's StrikeZone, in the manual, I'm just going to read it. Edit player. Each individual player can be edited in a number of different ways. Change a player's name, number, build, hair color, skin color, rating, batting, and throwing hand, and his face.
So you tell me I can do race swap Ken Griffey Jr. or whatever?
I was very disappointed by how Barry Bonds hit for me, so as punishment, I made him white.
Or if like this game could be for racists, you know what I mean?
If you want to go back and go all the way back before Jackie Robinson. Oh yeah, fun fact. I don't know when I believe it was 2003 or 4 is when Jackie Robinson's number was retired across the league. But you could just set players' numbers to 42 because it wasn't at the time. Because
I didn't know that it was retired. Like, I mean, that makes sense. So that's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, first incredible baseball player, broke the color barrier, very necessary. This Jackie Robinson day, just like the past few. For some reason, we're talking about how great Jackie Robinson was, but not what he did or why it was important or who was stopping. Just like, good on you, Barack Obama, for becoming president. Why does that matter? Like, what, perhaps there's something else to the story we could talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, this is back in the day when, if you thought about tossing bat flipping, you could just expect a brawl or to like get a 95-mile-per-hour ball like chucked at your head as hard as possible because you dare to have fun. This game does not want you to have fun. It's a bummer. Luckily there are many other good games for Nintendo 64. I don't know how many copies this sold. I'll be honest, I bought a physical copy and I want to bury it now. I want to find the ET hole in the desert and then put this underneath it. This game was a struggle. Being able to like, also you can do trades in this game, and you can paperclip your way into a house, which is great. So like trade an extremely bad player for a slightly better player for a slightly better player until you basically get every single good player. Yeah, I'm sorry. Paperclip your way into a car
all-star
or
team.
whatever. I guess, yeah. Or you could just like edit the players whatever you want, which sort of defeats the purpose. It's like, oh, you did trade me Mike Piazza? Ha! I will have Mike Piazza now.
You can make anyone. You can make a whole team of Mike Piazzas. Oh boy.
McDonald's. No, we have Mike Piazza at home.
One final thing I want to mention, actually, is that one thing I did like is the default players when you play the home run derby, which I only did once. The default players they set up for you to play as and against is Mike Piazza versus Ken Griffey Jr. And I thought that was kind of fun. Like, I don't know if there's like an actual baseball reason that would be the default, but I thought it was fun. Like, hey, it's this guy, he's got his game, and this guy's his game. It would be more fun if it was like an actually competitive game. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like we talked on our last episode, and look, a lot of people did point out the game Slugfest to me. I was like, wouldn't it be cool if there would be a blitz but for baseball? And then everyone was like, it's Slugfest. I'm like, okay, yeah, I remember this now. But point is, I think there is an actual lane for like a third type of baseball game that's like that, that's like more arcade, like insane, off the wall, you know what I mean? But I don't think this was definitely not the right type of game to come out after those two that does what neither of them do well, does nothing well. And Abby, you've kind of talked to me, like, I came into this thinking like, yeah, it was kind of like a bland game. It's not like, if I didn't know about the other ones, it would be fine. But now I'm like, you said you wanted to bury it, and I'm like, yeah, that sounds about right.
Well, I mean, it is legally baseball. I do have to give them that much. Though, if you throw it on like arcade mode, what was the longest home run you hit?
Oh, I mentioned that. I was like, it was something insane. I was like, is that even possible? Right? Is that what you're talking about? I feel like I hit
960.
Okay, I didn't hit that, but I wow, that's crazy. You know what? I couldn't even I could not make out what the difference between the two modes were, like arcade versus simulation. Like, neither felt.
I had an easier time in arcade hitting, but I couldn't tell you why. Easier.
Okay, yeah, exactly. I was like, arcade mode doesn't feel like an arcade type game, and simulate. It can't have those two modes and not feel like do those things, you know?
It didn't change the batting like it did in Ken Griffey Jr.'s, where like one of the modes you just hit the button, and the other one you lined up the bat then hit the button. That's like a qualitative difference. I don't even think it changed the trail. It didn't change the trail, so you still was able, through Mike Piazza's magic, able to tell a strike from a ball the second it left the pitcher's hand. Yeah, like, thank you, Mike Piazza's magic. Like, that's it.
That's what the third lane could have been, is truly from the pitcher's perspective, where you're controlling the glove and you're trying to do what you mentioned, like try to cheat and make it look like it's a
framing. Yeah,
like you're not pitching. You're not pitching the ball. In fact, like, you know,
you're calling the pitch.
Yeah, then you can have that thing
strike, fastball up and in, and then you're like putting it behind them to intimidate them or whatever.
Then when the pitcher's like, no, I don't want to throw that or whatever, you're like, okay, I gotta work with this guy. Like, you don't control the pitcher at all. Like, you know, it's they throw what they want to throw or whatever, and you got to work with them. And okay. Let's get on that.
That's an interesting game, and I think you can do something like that in like MLB The Show now. It would be completely innovative and like a next level. I can't imagine how good the catchers would be who played that as a kid would, because these concepts were not taught, like capture framing or like deception like that. It was sort of done a little bit occasionally, but never to this degree.
You just catch the ball as
first thing in the time machine. I'm going back and I'm getting in that writer's room for Mike Piazza's Strike Zone. And the first thing I'm changing is
let me in Devil's Thumb. Okay, well. Hey, I'm glad we got a podcast out of this game. That was my concern. Was that back in the previous era of Flashback, this would be just lumped in with another game because like, what are we going to say? But we did it. We had to talk about Mike Piazza and some country music, but I think we got there. Any other thoughts you had on the game?
Not really. Would not play this. I don't know any reason to play this when I have 2 other N64 baseball games.
That are if people are over and they want to play baseball.
Unless I want to be like, hey, look at this character I made that's like perfect stats and
who's gonna be that impressed by that?
Yeah, I'm like, okay, now I don't want to actually play it with
Too bad they're in this terrible game.
Yeah.
Maybe terrible is harsh, but I like the little team logos that would spin. There were little sprites they had for all the team logos. They were cute. They were probably represented better in the other games, but I don't know. Abby, any final thoughts for Mike Piazza's Strike Zone? Strike Zone, one word, by the way. Capitalize the Z still, though.
It is camel cased. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That gives it a lot of character. Anyway, any final thoughts on the game?
I'm really happy I got to play Ken Griffey Jr.'s baseball. Ken Griffey Jr. is significantly cooler than Mike Piazza, and so is his N64 baseball game.
Being a catcher is no walk in the park. Take Mike Piazza. This guy's a human target for a flamethrower. Even foul tips to the mask go at the territory. And he's got to handle pitches, pick-offs, and pop-ups. Not to mention human freight trains coming at him spikes first. Try telling Mike Piazza baseball isn't a contact sport.
At the end of the day, it was fun to kind of like go back and look at it and to talk about it with you. That's always the bonus of the show, is that it's, as much as we just kind of dogged on and complained about it, the whole experience of it has been fun. So glad to have you back on so soon.
Thank you. Definitely a better podcast than a game.
Yeah, I love when that happens. Well, okay, so I'll let people know what's coming with our next game. I think we'll have some fun. I've been having some fun with it, and it'll be a fun episode. We're talking about Mortal Kombat 4. So, yeah, exciting.
Game whips. It's not that good, but it's still a Mortal Kombat. So everybody was so excited for it too.
It has more charm than this game, I will say. So, anything you would like to promote, Abby?
Baseball's great. However, I am a woman online on the internet. If you want to find me, it's Mewyabby, Mewy, Abby, Abby. I talk about sports and baseball. A lot of baseball, a lot of mecha, a lot of anime, a lot of girls. Good stuff. So
it's a great follow. You've been, been one of the people we've been fortunate to become friends with through doing the podcast, and highly recommend everyone go give Abby a follow. And thank you for returning to the show.
Thank you for having me. It is still a fun pod, and getting to play a bad game is still a fun experience.
Absolutely, yeah. All right, well, cool. Thanks everybody for listening. You can check our stuff out at flashback64.com. Thank you to our Triforce tier patron Lee. We really appreciate you, and all our other supporters. Check it out at patreon.com/flashback64. Check out all the other shows in the Soundstone network at soundstone.network. And McKenna, great job.
Great job, Goop.
We'll see everybody next time with Mortal Kombat 4. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, hi. I didn't see you there. I'm Nick McConnell, and you caught me reading the instruction booklet for Street Fighter II in preparation for my weekly stream Instruction Derby, where I take a look at the creative, fun, and sometimes bizarre lost art of video game manuals. Did you know that, according to the manual for Street Fighter II on the Super Nintendo, Ryu was born in 1964, making him 62 years young, canonically? Happy birthday, Ryu. You're looking great. Did you also know that, per the manual for Laser Invasion on the Nintendo, the UN enters a conclave in order to select a new commando? Or did you know that the dancing enemies in Super Castlevania are named Paula Abgul and Fred Askare? These important facts and many more are discovered every Wednesday at noon Pacific on Instruction Derby over at internet website twitch.tv/Nick McConnell, part of the Soundstone Network.
Hey everyone, my name's Darren Hupke. I'm a writer, publisher, and podcaster. My podcast is called Pixels and Polygons. Each week I sit down with a guest and ask one simple video game question. It's a random topic each week and it leads to a fun conversation. You can find it on your favorite podcast platform every Friday, and you can read more about it at pixelsandpolygons.net.